So with AEM, I hope you know we have the concept of author and publisher in AEM. Okay.
Yep.
Author, I hope you know, but just let me again rephrase or again retell you all those things. So like the same way we have printer with us, like with printer, what we do is we create the content of the page and then we preview and then we give the print command. In the same way, like we prepare the content of or we write the content for our printer for our page. So all that content is being created on the author instance. So author and publisher, these are two separate servers of AEM. So every website would have two servers of AEM. Like if you want to create a new website of AEM, then of course you would need to have two servers of AEM. One will be the author, the other will be the publisher. And the author is where the content is created, like we talked about the printer. So author is where the content is being created, and that content after creation, like with printer, we do a print preview. In the same way, on the author, after writing or after creating the content, we will do a preview. And if all things goes good, then we give a print command, that is a replication that will replicate the content from author to publisher. Let me explain you this author and publisher concept with the help of a diagram. I think I already have this. And just let me open this. Okay. Let's try to understand it over here. So let's say, see, author and publisher are both AEM servers only. So with the same jar and with the same license file, you will create the author server, and with the same license, with the same jar and with the same license file, you will create the publisher server. It's just during the time of using or time of creating the author and publisher server, you just have to tell whether it should behave as an author instance or whether it should behave as a publisher instance. That I will tell you in a minute how will this work. So okay, so here you have your author and then you can have your publisher. So this is my author and this is my publisher. So we have, while creating any server in AEM, like let's okay, you decided that okay, you have to create a new website in AEM. So for that, you will create two servers of AEM. One will be the author, where you will create the content, like in the printer, you will write the content, the whole text. So that creation of content is being done on the author instance. So which team will work over here is like authors who actually create the content. Or when I say create the content, is basically like if you wanted that okay, that image of this over here should be changed. So this image would actually be changed, or any content update will be taken place inside the author instance only. So all those changes will be done inside the author instance. So authors will work over here. CM guys is content management, or even the devs also works over here. So everything is being worked or developed on the author instance. Okay. The content that gets created on the author instance, what we do is all those pages. See, content is basically our pages. That content is then replicated, or what we say is replicated or transformed or migrated from our author instance to our publisher instance. So this content, when I say, I'm only saying content is replicated. See, we have two things in AEM. One is content and the other is code. See, code has to be individually deployed on both author and publisher instance. It is only the content that is being created on the author instance, and from there it gets migrated to the publisher instance. Code base has to be separately deployed on both author and publisher instance. It is the
Yeah.
content. When I say content, content is all your pages. Like content is all your pages, all the damn assets, everything like that is a content.
Mhm.
All these things get created on the author and then we migrate or replicate to the publisher. Now the end user, like I am accessing the Amazon.in. So when I will hit that Amazon.in, it will land to our publisher website. So the publisher server will actually be your, so this server will be your actual Amazon.in server. So here the actual website user will come, end user will come over here. Okay, so here end user will land on the publisher server. So this publisher server actually sits on the internet. All the user can come and hits the publisher server. So that is why it is on internet. That is World Wide Web. And this author instances, this is internal to the CM team or the authors. This is not exposed to the outside end user. Any end user like me or you cannot land on any or open any company's author instance. That is why in most of the companies they put or this the author instance sits behind their firewall, you can say, or anything like this sits behind their own set of servers, so
Yeah.
that any other party cannot open their author instance. Because see, all the development, all the content update is being taken care on the author instance, from where actually it gets migrated to the or replicated to publisher, and end user actually comes on the publisher server. Okay.
Yeah.
So author instance basically sits behind firewall on most of the companies, so it should not be accessible to the outside
Mm.
world. And also the code has to be separately deployed on both author and publisher server.
Yeah. Okay.
So see, dispatcher, see, this author instance is limited to our company only. See, how many CM or how many authors will be there? Of
Mm.
maximum 5, 6 who will be updating the content, or like you as a developer, there will be multiple. So 7, 8, or maximum 15, 20. These many user will land on author instance. So that is why there is not much load on author instance.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
But of course, Amazon.in website is accessible to all the users. So that is why this publisher instance, there needs to be multiple publisher instance actually for your website. So this publisher instance, like this is pub1, there can be there has to be multiple publisher server on your end website, so that the 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 request should not always come to your single publisher server, but it can land on any of the publisher server depending upon the load on one of the servers. So end user can come on any of these publisher server, okay, depending upon load.
Mm.
So on author instance, the JSON gets cached. And on author instance, are you using dispatcher?
That's what I'm not sure. I think we have, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So in case, see, uh, uh, the JSON, in case if it is getting cached, it should be on your dispatcher only. In case if it is getting cached, so there are two ways you can resolve this. See, if I open the dispatcher configuration, if you have an access to dispatcher and you wanted to know how you would dispatcher, like how that if you have the access to the dispatcher
Mhm.
and you can change the dispatcher configuration, then I can tell you what would be the fix. So one fix is that you should not cache your JSON, but that is not an appropriate approach. You should cache, but with every activation, you should invalidate your cache. Like here you can see this is the cache section and here is the invalidate section. I do not want to get more deeper into this. Maybe it will confuse you, but yes, if you will go through this documentation, if you understood this, then it's okay. Otherwise, we will discuss. But there is an cache within this. There is an invalidate. So it says list of auto invalidated documents. So automatically, what all type of files that you want to invalidate on every activation of your page. So this is where you will use this invalidate, like the invalidate. Yeah. So here,
So this is like configuration, right?
yes, this is in configuration. See, dispatcher is dispatcher. Okay, dispatcher is just a module that sits on our Apache web server. So you need for dispatcher to work, you need to have an Apache web server, and there within that you can use a dispatcher module. Ultimately, it dispatch. So ultimately, when I showed you over here, this is the dispatcher layer. This is nothing but again a server, and this is your Apache web server. So Apache A and AW. I'm writing AW. So Apache web server. On within this, your dispatcher sits, like you have other modules as well within your Apache, like redirect module or other modules. In the same way, we have this dispatcher module. So all that caching, all the cache pages that sits on the Apache web server only. And within this Apache web server, where the dispatcher sits, you can provide the rules of which all pages should be cached, which all pages should not be cached. And in case if they're getting cached, then how these caches should get invalidated, which all pages should get automatically invalidated when a page gets activated. So all those rules are being written in an dispatcher configuration file that is called as dispatcher.ini file.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Got it.
So as of now, for you to understand, the most important thing is that okay, these are AEM servers, author server, publisher server. Of course, these server sits on AEM server. But for Apache to sit, we do not have any AEM server, but it makes the use of Apache web server. So in case if you need to set up dispatcher, you need to firstly install Apache web server, and there on the top of that, you can use the dispatcher module.
Okay. And where we configure the that Apache web server within the AM? Is it like in any file or something?
No, Apache web server is altogether a separate entity. It's a server. You need to install the zip for that executable file. So Apache server, it will run altogether on a separate port. Like see, here our author was running on 4502. It was running on 4502.
Yeah.
Now, in the same way, our publisher was running on 4503. So Apache, see, it's also a web server. Apache web server, again, it's a server. So it will run on some other port, maybe 9503, maybe something like that. So end user will request this dispatcher Apache web server. See, any website running has to run on a server. If it's not a desktop application, because desktop application doesn't require any server.
Yeah.
So any website to run, it needs a server. So here we use Apache web server on where dispatcher sits. So any end user that hits, it will hit the dispatcher first.
The dispatcher first, and then the dispatcher will be redirecting to the publisher thing, right?
Exactly.
Or publisher. So,
yeah,
so
exactly.
okay. Oh, okay. So in the Apache web server, we configure to where to balance the load to reach.
Exactly. Absolutely. So here again, if I show you this configuration file, if I go to the top here, if you would see, you can see see here statistics categories. This document categories that I use for load balancing estimates. So here again, some configuration is being done for load balancing.
Okay, got it.
So whole load balancing, caching, and also any filtering that has to be done. So see, in case if there is some malicious user who tries to run a script where like some request is again and again coming to your publisher server, so all those requests are also blocked at the dispatcher level. The dispatcher blocks, or at the dispatcher level we say that which all requests should be passed through this dispatcher. So basically the rule which we apply in the dispatcher, the filtering rule, it says that everything is blocked. What we say is everything is blocked, first rule. Second rule, then we allow some of the pages. Like if our website pages sits below the content, like my website name is sample, content sample, en home, then I will say that, okay, everything is blocked at the dispatcher level, and then this particular path will be enabled. Okay, so we block everything and then we allow some of the paths.
Okay, yeah.
So this way, we block any malicious requests from coming into AEM. So filtering, caching, load balancing is all done at the dispatcher level.
Dispatcher. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.